Now, depending upon the nature of the excretory products, there are three basic modes of excretion which are shown by the animals. The first is Ammonotalism. The second is Eureotylism. And the third is Eureotylism. We'll be understanding what these three modes of elimination exactly are. So first, let us understand what is Ammonotalism. In this subsection, we'll be covering 4 points. The first will be what is Ammonotalism. Second will be the examples of animals showing this type of excretion. Third, what is ammonia and its harmful effects. And fourth will be its elimination process. So let us first focus on the first point, that is what is Ammonotalism. Now, elimination of nitrogenous wastes in the form of ammonia is called as Ammonotalism. This is the simplest meaning of Ammonotalism. And the organisms which excrete ammonia as their main excretory product are called as ammonotelic organisms. So this covers the first point of what is Ammonotalism. Let us now look at the second point, that is the examples of animals or organisms showing ammonotelic mode of excretion. Now the first and the primary examples are aquatic animals. The second is tadpole larva of frog. And third are the bony fishes, which are somewhat involved in aquatic animals. So these three types of organisms, that is aquatic organisms, bony fishes and tadpole larva of frog, show this type or this mode of excretion, that is ammonotelic mode of excretion. Let us move to the third point of what exactly ammonia is and what are the harmful effects of ammonia. So first, ammonia is a very toxic or highly toxic excretory product, and it is highly soluble in water. It can be excreted by simple diffusion process. Now, let us understand what are the harmful effects of ammonia. Now, ammonia, if it is present for a longer time in our body, it can cause some serious problems. The first problem is that it can cause irritation in your eyes, nose, and the respiratory tract, because of which it can also cause damage to your lung cells, and if not treated on time, it can also lead to death. So ammonia is very toxic and it cannot be retained in our body for a longer time. And also, the levels of ammonia inside the human body is kept very low. The normal levels of ammonia inside the blood of human beings is about 0.7 milligrams to 2 milligrams per liter of blood. So you can imagine how less is the concentration of ammonia which is kept inside our body. Now let us move to the fourth point, that is its elimination. Now 1 gram of ammonia requires about 300 to 500 ml of water to be excreted or eliminated out completely. So you can imagine how much amount of water is required to excrete 1 or a single gram of ammonia. And that is the reason why Ammonotalism is found only in aquatic animals. So this we have seen Ammonotalism, or the first mode of excretion. Now let us move to the second mode of excretion, that is Eureotylism. Now even in this subsection or even in this mode, we'll be covering 4 points. The first will be what is Eureotylism. Second will be the examples of animals showing Eureotylism. Third will be the formation of urea. and fourth will be its elimination. So let us move to the first point of what is Eureotylism. Now, elimination of nitrogenous wastes in the form of urea is called as Eureotylism, and the organisms which excrete urea as their main excretory product are called as ureotylic organisms. Now, let us move to the second point, that is the examples of animals showing Ureotylism. This mode of excretion is found mainly in the terrestrial animals. For example, mammals, frogs, toads, turtles, and even to some extent in sharks and in other small aquatic animals. Let us move to the third point, that is what is urea and how it is formed inside our body. Now, urea is another type of nitrogenous waste. In certain animals, for example in terrestrial animals, as I've just mentioned, these animals do not have access to so much amount of water, and also they cannot afford to lose so much amount of water to excrete ammonia, that is 300 to 500 ml. And this is the reason why in such animals ammonia is converted to a less toxic form, that is urea, inside the liver of these organisms. Let me tell you how is urea formed from ammonia inside the liver. Now, urea first combines with carbon dioxide and it is then converted to ammonium carbamate, and ammonium carbamate then finally undergoes dehydration to form urea, and water is then expelled out. Now, this entire process of formation of urea from ammonia takes place under high pressure and high temperature conditions, which are maintained inside the livers in these types of animals, that is the terrestrial animals. Now we have seen what is urea. Let us understand what are the harmful effects of urea. Just like ammonia, even urea can cause irritation inside your eyes, in your nose, and in the lower respiratory tract. And this is the reason why it needs to be eliminated from the body. But unlike ammonia, urea is less toxic and it can be maintained inside our body for a certain amount of time. Let us move to the fourth part, that is the elimination of urea. Now, urea requires comparatively less amount of water as compared to ammonia. 1 gram of urea requires just 50 ml of water to be expelled out from the bodies of these organisms. And 50 ml of water is easily affordable to be lost by these organisms, which is why these organisms show this particular type of mode of excretion. Now, one more important point to be remembered regarding ureotylism is that the formation of urea from ammonia demands some energy, and 1 gram of urea requires 3 molecules of ATP to be formed. So, ammonia is converted to urea using 3 molecules of ATP. With this, we have seen the ureotylism, or the second mode of excretion, which is shown by animals. Now let us move to the third type of mode, or third mode of excretion, that is Eureotylism. Even in this part, we'll be covering 4 points. So let us start with the first point, that is what is Eureotylism. Now, elimination of nitrogenous waste in the form of uric acid is called as Eureotylism. And organisms which excrete uric acid as their main excretory product are called as uricotelic organisms. Now let us move to the second point, that is examples of animals which show this type of excretion. Now, mostly the animals living on the land, that is the terrestrial animals and the desert region animals, show this type of excretion because they have minimum amount or minimum access to water, and hence they can neither show Ammonotalism or Eureotylism, and that is why they show Ureotylism type of mode of excretion. Now, the examples of such animals involves snakes, lizards, terrestrial birds, terrestrial insects, and other reptiles which live in the desert region. So these types of animals show uricotelic mode of excretion. Now let us understand what is uric acid and how harmful is it for our body. Now uric acid is comparatively less toxic than ammonia and urea, which is why it can be retained in our body for a longer period of time. Uric acid is insoluble in water, unlike ammonia and urea, which are very much soluble in water. Uric acid is not soluble or insoluble in water. Uric acid is eliminated in the form of pellets or in the form of a thick paste. Uric acid, if maintained or if retained in our body for longer time, can cause severe pain inside the joints of bones, which is called as arthritis or gout. They basically accumulate inside the bone joints and they cause severe pain, and this is the reason why they need to be eliminated. Now let us look at the fourth and the last part, that is the elimination of uric acid. Now uric acid requires least amount of water to be eliminated. 1 gram of uric acid requires just 10 ml of water, and which is why birds, reptiles, lizards eliminate uric acid and they require just 10 ml of water to eliminate it. Even inside human beings, uric acid is eliminated through the urine, and uric acid is formed by the process or by the degradation of purines and pyrimidines which are present inside the nucleic acid. So with this, we have seen the 3 primary modes of excretion which are shown by the animals. Now besides these 3 modes of excretion, there is yet another mode of excretion which is not commonly talked about, and this is Guanotelism. Guanotelism is shown by certain animals or arachnids like spiders and scorpions. They eliminate guanine as their excretory products, and which is why these organisms, that is spiders, scorpions, are called as guanotelic. With this, we have seen the entire mode of excretion part in animals. Thank you.